Bodybuilding with a purpose. We are building our bodies, minds, and spirit to achieve a level of holistic growth. It's not about aesthetics and looking good. That's just a byproduct of the intrinsic attention we give ourselves, overcoming all challenges in pursuit of our greatest desire. Bodybuilding with a purpose.
Yeah.
Let me ask then, if I was in high school with you, because I love this mindset that you have, and that's probably one of the reasons you and I would talk so much even offline, just, similar mindset. But if I was in high school with you, you know, what would my perspective of Derek Joe be? Like, have you always been like this?
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, pretty much. Like, I was always very focused,
Mm,
and it's part of how I was raised too. I feel like fairly old school with a lot of
yes,
things.
yes.
But I didn't have a car or a cell phone in high school. Um, I think I had my mom's car my senior year, so it's not like I was going to parties. I was
Yes.
a three-sport athlete. It was always about having good grades so I can stay eligible for school. And that was important to me because I wanted to play the sport. So I was going to get the best grades I could so I could play sports and start on the football team, basketball team, run track, so I could have a chance to get a scholarship.
Yes.
Um, so I feel like you would see the same thing in me in high school. Somebody that's not really getting into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like I was still fairly nice to everybody. Probably
Yes.
quiet. People would call me shy, but I was just more private, and I
Yeah.
just head down and took care of things I needed to take care of. Um, so life was simple for me in that regard. It's like I'm a kid. I only have very
Mm-hmm.
few responsibilities, get good grades, don't get thrown in jail for doing stupid stuff, and,
Yes.
play sports. So to me, that's all I really focused on. Um, I think a lot of my friends would say that, like my level of discipline, and just loyalty to people that are close to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of always had those values instilled in me, from a
Yes.
early age.
Yes, yes. I mean, it does shows, man, in your character and everything you do. I remember the first time I met you back at Philip Ricardo's show. That was last year, actually, January.
Oh
You
yeah,
were part of the judges then, and that was when I got my pro card for Classic Physique, right? And
yep.
I remember since then, and then the rest is history, right? I just gotta ask, man, this character that you will have, how does one cultivate this, the champion mindset, right? Because sometimes people think being a champion is just the first place on stage, but you embody this both on and off stage, like just holistically. So how do you even coach your clients? How do you even train people to embody this lifestyle outside and on stage? Because I've met some of the people you've trained, Grant.
Yeah.
Both me and him were competed, and I met what man, his name
Oh yeah,
just
Delante.
yes, Delante, right?
Yeah.
And I met
And
amazing folks, great character. I'm like, man, they are really good presentation of their coach. So how do you do that?
I mean, that's credit to them too, because I think you end up attracting whatever you are to an
Mm,
extent, because they'll connect with you. The way I speak is something they connect to, so then they're just feeding off of that. They have their own values and disciplines, and former military guys or current military guys, so they have that kind of already instilled in them.
yes.
Um, and honestly, that's probably the question I get the most from my clients, which is kind of weird. They're asking me about my mindset more than they're asking me about, like, how can I lose weight?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Yes.
what's your mindset, going into something like this? And I'm just like, oh, that's what you want to know? I'm like, okay. It's a little deeper, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I mean, it really comes down to your values and your foundation, like what your belief system is. You got to start there. And like I said, I had that from my family, uh, Christian family, go to church every Sunday. So, we believe in God, and I still
Mhm.
do, and, read the Bible. So a lot of things came from that. Like a lot of my own strength came from that. Um,
Yes.
when you read the Bible and do your best to understand it, it gives you a different perspective. Because the Bible talks about life, you know, so as a younger kid, you can learn about things that most adults struggle with, you know, by reading, you know, Psalms and Proverbs, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
learn how to deal with certain situations. And there was a lot of work I did just on myself to develop, like self-development. I read a lot of books. I listen to a lot of audibles, you know,
Yes.
because of my corporate kind of world and being in banking. I did a lot of stuff for like sales and development, talking to people, you know, speaking in front of people. So there's a lot of things like that where it's habit driven, right?
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think the first thing that I talk to people about is their habits, and then obviously the way they think about the things they already do. Because most people, I think, they don't have the confidence, right? Or at least when they come to you for the purpose of fitness or doing a show, if I'm
Yes.
coaching them in that regard, they're not as confident with the food they're eating. They're not confident with their bodies. They're not confident with what they're doing every day, with their workouts, and you know, their own level of insecurity shows based off of how they perceive other people looking at them too.
Yes.
So a lot of it is just more that internal dialogue that you're having with yourself and flipping the switch on certain things, or just owning where you're at, you know, having that own self-awareness of where you're at. And then just like we talked about earlier, recognizing that you have the power to make that decision.
Yes. Yes.
And this is the consequence if you go this way, and this is the potential positive results if you go this way. You already know the outcome of one because
Yes.
that's the one you've been doing all the time. So why not try the other thing and just suffer through it a little bit when you know that it's going to lead you down a better path? And it just takes work and experience. You know, you can't just read a book and, okay, now I have the right mindset. You know, you have to put in the work every day and you have to go through it.
Yes.
You have to struggle.
Yes.
You have to
Yes.
go to the gym when you're tired. You have to eat the healthier version of food, you know, depending on what you're doing.
Yes.
Like you have to make those tough decisions every single day. And if you're not doing it, you're going to lack confidence. But once you start doing it, you're like, okay, I've been doing this. Like, I got this.
Yes.
And it's your
Yes.
own internal struggle that's going to help you cultivate the mindset that you need. And then from there, it's just, you know, me winning the championship isn't what makes me the person that has a champion's mindset, right? So
Yes.
like
Yes.
I already had that. And I say that to myself already. Like I was a pro before I was a pro, and I was a champion before I was a champion,
Wow.
you know, because I knew I was doing the things that champions do already.
Yes.
Me
Yes.
winning it was just, you know, a
An
result of me
extra.
doing what they do.
Yes.
So, and it, you know, it just takes time and practice and dedication. With the younger guys, it's, you know, it's a level of them understanding that patience, right? You know, you be 19, 20 years old and you want to win the Natural Olympia, you know, this year, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And it's
Please
like, cool.
explain
Like
explain more on this.
I get
Please.
it. And it's not that your physique isn't there. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of 19-year-olds that have phenomenal physiques. You know, it's just understanding some things are going to take time, or it's just a certain season in your life that something like that's going to happen. Or if it doesn't happen now, that means something greater is meant for you than what this potential time that you're focusing on is giving you right now. So,
Yes.
you know, it's all leading you to something else.
Yes, yes, man. I love this so much, man. I mean, like I said, the mindset, everything shows not just, on you, but everyone you've coached and everyone you talk to. Because I remember when Delonte's, regardless of his placings, my guy was, he was really happy and his posing routine. I don't know if you
Oh
see the
yeah.
video. My heart
Yeah.
just flew off that, right? But like, I love the fact, you say it's a process, patience, all those different characteristics right there, right? So my other question is winning the Mr. Let's go into competing a little bit, right? But winning
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Mr. Olympia for the second time, right? Um, how was that? How was that feeling for you now? And now going for the third title, the same title. How, what is the process like for you, and how was that feeling?
Second one was definitely different. The second one probably meant a little more to me because it was more of that validation.
Mm,
You know,
yes,
imposter syndrome sets in for all of us at some point, and I
yes,
think
yes,
as we continue to evolve and we just elevate to that next level of whatever it is we're doing, where that imposter syndrome is going to come back again to some degree. So we have to do our best to, snuff that out. But even after I won that first year, it was kind of like, for me,
hmm,
just having that high expectation, there was that pressure because it's like, okay, am I really good enough to be the champion? Like, is my physique truly good enough to be number one?
mm,
And winning it the second year for me was that validation. Like, okay, yeah, like I'm here to stay. Kind of,
yes,
it was
yes,
more of a statement victory, right, to win it that second
yes,
time. And this third time, kind of the same thing. It's, my coaches tell me pressure is a privilege,
mm,
and there's pressure on me to compete and to continue to improve my own physique, regardless of what level I'm at. But, um, this third one's also important for different reasons. I lost my mom this year in August. She passed away.
oh, sorry about that.
Um, she had breast cancer since 2014.
Wow.
She passed away in August, a couple days after my birthday. So, that's been going on kind of all year, where I'm kind of back and forth here and there from home to go visit when I can, and I was talking to Philip more so throughout the year, just questioning if I even wanted to compete at all this year. I go from, last year I did 3 shows. So this year I was like, all right, maybe I'll do one before the Natural Olympia.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do 3. So it's just a lot of back and forth throughout the year, um, just with things like that going on for myself internally. And, I wanted to make sure I was in the right headspace. I was kind of
Yes.
halfway in. I wasn't 100% with a lot of stuff. I was busier, still busy getting settled in with my job and work and training clients and, just doing different stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so this one was like this one has a different level of meaning for me.
Hmm.
Like this one's for my mom, like
Yes.
I could really care less about me winning it for myself now. Like this third one's
Wow.
for her. So like at this point, I told Philip and, Jarrett Crew is, working with me now. Like he's taken the lead on like my prep for different things. It's something I talked to Philip about. I'm actually going to be doing some posing with Philip after this call, but
Oh, nice.
we talk about different things as far as, you know, um, just getting me through a prep. We're obviously looking at the last 2 years and how I peaked or didn't peak and wanting to present like the best physique. And, I'm still learning my own body. Like
Yes.
it's
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
Like I'm still very new to bodybuilding and competing and I have a lot to learn. So like, I'm never going to act like I know everything just because I won the Natural Olympia, because there's so many
Mm.
athletes out there and coaches that know so much more than I do,
Yes.
that I've had the privilege to learn from and be mentored by. So I think that's given me a fast track because I'm learning from some of the best coaches in the game right now.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now I can bring that to my athletes with my own perspective and view on it. So that's something I'm excited about as a coach. But then just to work with some of these guys, like to be able to work with Jarrett Crew,
Hmm.
I've known him for a couple years because he helped me with posing and he was my posing coach for a while. So we already had a really good relationship. And, you know, he reached out to me a lot when my mom passed away. So there's things like that where those connections with these guys, like it just means a lot to me. Um, and, you know, it's just going to be a big one for that reason.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
so, you know, I'm excited. I'm putting everything I have into this prep right now. And it's exciting to know that I'm doing that, you know, because I know this physique is going to be way better than any of the last two physiques you saw from me over the last couple of years. So I'm excited to showcase that. And, you know, win or lose, you know, whoever shows up, you know,
That is the first part right there.
I'm going to be excited either way, you know, about just having the opportunity to get on stage and represent my mom and my family and my friends and my coaches and just everybody that supported me. You know, not just this year, but when I was struggling, you know, back home in Tucson. So, you know, this one's just more for them. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. Wow, thank you very much for sharing that. You know, my condolences about your mom, and
Yeah.
you know that this is why we call this segment, you know, bodybuilding with a purpose. Because for a lot of people from outside looking in, like, oh, these guys are just a bunch of muscle heads just trying to show it. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've gotten that talk a lot of time. Like, oh, you're just trying to show how muscles you have, but you know, it's more about the mental journey, the process, you know, the meaning of whatever show you're doing, you know, what it represents, right? You know, just a quick one. Even I think the posing routine I did at Philip Ricardo's show last year, Rise Up. I think I got the best poser award for that. For me, that right there, the posing was just what I've been through. I came to America by myself in 2014, so it's like, man, what I've been through. So let me
Yeah.
express myself on stage, right? And you know, it's kind of fun and you know really encouraging to just see that you have the same idea, the same philosophy. So thank you very much for sharing that.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the content that you're seeing, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Don't miss a beat when it comes to the content that we drop.